All right, everybody, let's take a look and see what happened in the market today. We're looking at the S&P 500 futures, upper left-hand corner. December contracts, the symbol for the continuous contract is this /ES. I often trade the MES. Okay, so those that want to know. Okay, those are new to the channel. I trade that a lot. Occasionally I'll trade the ES if things are going really good. And the brokerage account is fat full of cash. And I might trade the ES a little bit more often. Okay, what do I got to say about today? Very interesting day. Very interesting day. The range was decent, 43.5. So decent range. However, if I'm not mistaken, and let me change the size of this pencil, this candlestick right here, today's candlestick, looking an awful lot like a hanging man. So for those that don't know what a hanging man is, you can go on your favorite search engine and look that up. Candlestick, hanging man. Now, of course, for it to be a hanging man, we need confirmation, which will be tomorrow. I said in yesterday's video that the word of the day, and still is, confirmation. We don't have that yet. Okay. Today's candlestick, let's see, opened at 44.65.5 and closed at 44.76. Not exactly a confidence building candlestick, is it? For the long side, right? So it closed up about 10.5 points from where it opened. Yeah. It's a green candlestick, and last night, of course, it traded way down, and there was definitely some short side as well as long side opportunities throughout the session starting from last night. So I'm sure some people made some money on this. I didn't trade today. No, sir, I did not trade today. Actually, I'm sorry, that's not true. I traded one contract on the VIX, the E-mini VIX. I made like $5 or $10 and closed it. Opened it up again. Then the position worked against me, and I lost I think a total of like $30 for the day. And that's the way it is. That's called risk management. If you didn't watch my video from yesterday, and I think a couple days ago I put out a video about risk management, look in the links below this video in the description box. You'll see a bunch of links in there, but you'll see yesterday's video, and I'll put up the one for the risk management. Really good video. You should watch it. So I think we got a hanging man potentially. And tomorrow, like I said, we'll confirm whether or not we get that confirmation. So tomorrow, what would it be? Well, basically just be a down day, be a red day. You know, overall would close red. It may not be a huge red day. But look over here. Look at this little area right up in here. If we get something like that, okay, where you get this kind of, looks like a hammer, but it's actually a hanging man. If you get something like that and the next day's red, oh yeah, that's usually confirmation right there. Okay, so it's very simple. Right now, to me, this is very, very simple. If tomorrow we get a green day, I'm long. I'm trading, no problem. It's a long trade, and I'm in. Okay, because that means it's going to bust through, and it's going to invalidate this hanging man, and then we're off to the races. And great, I'll be trading that. I'll definitely trade it long and hopefully make some profit doing that. However, if tomorrow's a red day, and it's just kind of hanging around, and we get one of those candlesticks that just looks kind of sideways, okay, kind of like that deal there. It may not be identical, but something kind of like that. Okay, where you get the hanging man kind of candlestick, and the next day's red. It might even go up like that one did, where it has that high wick, but then fails. Oh yeah. If I see that happening tomorrow, it gets up in here and starts failing, coming back, or the opening, basically travels down through the night, and you get this red body. Oh. Yeah. Then that'll be confirmation more than likely that we're going to have at least, whatever, going into the 24th or thereabout sometime this week. We should get probably 2-3 day down days, maybe something like that would be my guess. Okay, so that's tomorrow's the big tell, okay, about which way the market's going to go. Okay, now remember, and I put this in here, so the cycle low, I think, is going to be the 24th. Okay, it was the 18th, which is today, but clearly today's not a cycle low. Okay, so there's some talk about, as I said, I think in Sunday's video, that this that this area right here was the low, and this whole entire cycle, this one here, actually extended all the way out like that. It just became like a big long cycle. And that may be true, but I'm not convinced of that yet. Like this cycle, I'm sorry, more like went like this to that candlestick, like right there, which would be like a 30-day cycle or something. I haven't really counted it, but something like that. But I'm not convinced of that. Okay, I'm not convinced. I think, and we'll find out as this week goes on, whether or not sometime kind of mid to late this week is the cycle low. And right now that's the 24th, which I think, like I said, is Sunday. So the 22nd, which I think is Friday. Okay. So we're going to wait to see how this plays out as far as the cycle low goes. Okay. But I also want to mention, this is really, really important, that tomorrow is the VIX futures last trading day for the October contracts, October 19th. That's really important. Okay. And this kind of price action we saw today it kind of feels like it's setting up for that VIX expiration to me. Everybody focused on that expiration well, there was some on Thursday, but most of them were on Friday of last week, and of course, it didn't phase. The expirations on Friday didn't phase any pricing. That's for sure. We had a nice healthy candlestick there, right? That candlestick was what? Well, it was decent, 41.25. Really wasn't much better. Actually, today's candlestick had more range. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens with that. Pretty simple stuff. If we get a strong green day, I'm going long. If we get a red day, the day that just kind of stalls and hangs around next to this day, and it's kind of farting around, especially if it has this kind of wick like that, then comes back down like that one did, oh yeah. That's going to be setting up a short side trade going into the rest, at least I think for a couple days, maybe more. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, looking at the Big Daddy forecast, it's just sitting sideways. Undecided. Momentum is still strong. That momentum is strong. There's no denying that. That big gap between the slow line and the fast line, that's strong momentum. So this market's going to have to confirm which way it wants to go. Big Daddy's saying, not sure. Stochastic momentum says we're still going up. Okay? To me, this makes sense, this kind of indecision going on, especially with a candlestick like today. Especially with that kind of candlestick. And then I put down here the VIX, guys. I put in the over here on the left, bottom left, I put in the VIX. This is the November contract for the VIX. So I switched it from being a line chart to candlesticks. I like it much better. And I also put the cycles in here for the VIX. Really, really nice. Let me see if I can get this to show up a little bit better. Let me show you these. Yeah, there we go. Much better, right? You can really see these low points, right? They really stand out. This area right here, this area right here, and look where we're at. Even over here, we had a little bit of a low. Came down into there. Right? Those cycles are just a thing of beauty, man. Thing of beauty. Okay? So look where we're at right now. We had that kind of like, I think that's called a morning star right there. This was Friday's candlestick. Look at that morning star. It's doji-ish, morning star-ish. Okay? So that candlestick right there is like screaming. Screaming, telling us it's the low. If you don't know about candlesticks, guys and gals, you need to take the time and study the candlesticks, okay? We don't make trades just on candlesticks alone, but we use them in conjunction with other indicators and trend lines and so on and so forth, okay? Which, by the way, I'm going to talk about that trend line up here in a moment. Okay. But back down here to the VIX, which the low is basically today or tomorrow because the VIX expires. Okay, and then the November contract will start up on Wednesday. Okay, so this is just looking, this is just looking so juicy for volatility to at least come up a little bit. It may not, we may not get this, we may not get this huge downtrend. I don't really know. Like, we may not get a resumption of that. It's hard to say. Or you got to wait to see what the market tells us. But I would expect a spike in some volatility here for at least a couple days, sometime this week. That might be starting tomorrow. You might start Wednesday, Thursday kind of thing, where we begin to see the volatility come up and the price come down. Okay? But like I said, if tomorrow is a huge green day, then I'll definitely trade tomorrow on the long side, but I'll probably be really cautious about holding any positions overnight. I wouldn't do that because of the VIX's contract is expiring. I definitely wouldn't hold positions overnight. I'd be really careful about that. I would intraday or trade all the way up to the futures market session closes, which for me is 4 p.m. But I would not hold positions overnight. Tuesday night, that's a big no-no with the VIX expiring. Okay, so to me, it's pretty straightforward. If I had to flip a coin, guys and gals, I think tomorrow is going to be a red day. That's just my guess. I don't really care if we're long, the market's going up or down. I'm going to trade whatever the market gives me. Today I didn't trade because I just did not like what I saw in that candlestick. I played it really cool last night. Just did one contract. I lost 30 or 40 bucks. That's what that's what we do when we have to use our risk management, right? I cut that sucker short, lickety split. I'm not going to hang on to that thing as it's losing money. Okay, those are the kind of days, if you're going to have losses, guys and gals, those are the kind of days you really want. Then little dinky losses. Little small nothing losses, $30 or $40. Okay, so you have all kinds of margin left, so you can trade the good days, which I think are coming up, one way or the other. Okay, let me just hit the auto zoom on this, and then we'll zoom back in here a little bit. Let me bring this back down. Let me get this all straightened out here. Okay, that's a little better. Let me grab the pencil. So this trend line right here. Let me get the thinner line. Trend line. That little guy. This little guy right there. What's up with that? Well, a lot of people probably don't realize this. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this. Whenever you get this kind of hanging man looking candlestick, and the body of that candlestick is above your trend line, and it's clear this is a trend line, right? I mean, everybody can see that's a trend line. You wouldn't pull from here and do a trend line like that. That would just be silliness, right? We wouldn't do that. This trend line's obvious to me. When the trend line was going the other way, it's pretty obvious it was right there. Okay, so that's pretty obvious. That's a trend line. Now, what a lot of people don't know about hanging man candlesticks, well, this is potentially hanging man. Potentially. It looks like one, but like I said, we need confirmation. But when you get a hanging man candlestick like that looks like a hanging man, if the majority of the body or all the body is above a trend line, oh, yeah, that's a strong signal that you're going to get a reversal. A lot of people don't know that. They think this is they think this is looking bullish. The uninitiated will think this is bullish. And the market's very strong right now because of that momentum. So it could just say, "Oh, forget the hanging man, we're going." Forget the hanging man, we're going up. It could definitely do that. Okay? But like I said, I think I'm just throwing out a number, 60-40 chance that we'll get a red day tomorrow. Okay? With the hanging man, mannish looking, you like that? Mannish? Yeah, mannish. Hanging mannish candlestick above the trend line like that. That's more times than not is reversal kind of pattern. So tomorrow's a big tell. Okay, enough of that. Just real quick update on the E-Trade small account. I know a lot of people have been asking in the comment section of the videos, when are we going to trade the small trading account? When are you going to stream? So of course, I'm watching it every day, right? And the money's cleared the brokerage account. That part's good. But I can't transfer it I also have a futures account with them, right? It's the same account. One's the brokerage account, one's this futures account. When I opened up this small trading account on E-Trade, I opened up both account types at the same time. Okay, it takes a few days, even though it's sitting there ready to be, I think it's sitting there ready to be traded for if I want to trade equities. Okay. But it takes a few days for it to get to the point to where you could withdraw it for cash, like you could take it back out. Once it hits that status, then I can transfer it over to the futures account. So that's what I'm waiting on, okay? Because I would rather for us to see if E-Trade's going to let us trade futures with $1,000, okay, $1,000. Okay, so that's what I'm waiting on. I don't want to do any equities trades yet. Equities, stocks, same thing, right, guys and gals? For those who don't know what equities means, equities, stocks, same thing. Okay, so I'm going to be a little patient. I want to wait to see if we can transfer the $1,000 to the futures account, which hopefully is going to be like in the next few days. Sooner the better. And once that happens, I'll try to spend some time this week trying to figure out which futures product we could trade with that $1,000, right? And like I said in yesterday's video, I mentioned potentially some softs like grains and some currency futures we could trade. Those are the ones that kind of stand out. The big one that really stands out, guys and gals, to me the most, is the E-micro Canadian US dollar futures. It's really cheap, and it trades almost identical to crude oil. And that's a real benefit. But would you believe that E-Trade will not let us trade that product? I already checked. It's not part of their data set. Oh, it's so frustrating. I'm a little frustrated about that. Now, TD Ameritrade will let us trade that, but unfortunately, this is my big account. So anyway, we'll figure it out one way or the other. So I'm just waiting to see, guys, if we can trade the futures with E-Trade with the $1,000. So just hang in there. Once I get that all sorted out and I get things squared away with E-Trade and I get confirmation about whether we can trade the futures, then I'll set up this live stream and then we'll take it from there, okay? So that's the update on the little small account. All right? Okay, guys and gals, that's what I got going on for today. I think tomorrow's a 60-40 chance, slight favor of a red day. That's my call. I think this is probably going to be a hanging man. I think it'll be confirmed tomorrow. We shall see what happens. But even if it doesn't happen, and even if the trolls visit my YouTube channel and tell me how wrong I am, I don't care. I'm going to trade if it's green. If it's big and green tomorrow, you bet I'm in, man. Because we trade the markets in front of us, right, guys and gals? But that's my call for tomorrow. I think it's going to be red. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, guys and gals. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to click that little bell to be notified of all the videos as they come out. We'll talk to you all real soon again next time. Happy trading.